So, this is a story about Jepp. What shocker. Alright, Jepp, when he was about the same age he was now, which is about him from about 4 or so months ago, back when he was still working in Undertown as a slave. Not so cool. Not such a great time for him. But it is what it is, right? So, Jepp, of course, his first memory before he remembered all that stuff in Podieba, woke up in the back of a cart, manacled and chained up, and his horns were capped. Not a great time for him. And so he was working in Undertown, hammering out the base of the tower down there under Sulian's command, right? And he's a pretty big guy, so most people would refer to him as like the monster or brute or other such similar names. Not such a great time, but he's a nice guy, so he kind of took it like a champ. And he would also kind of see if any of the Thri-kreen that were working down there were having kind of a tough time and not doing so good with the whole, trying to hammer the big stone base into shape, right? And so he would kind of wait until Sulian wasn't looking. He would take up their pickaxes and hammers and do some of the work for them so that they could be okay, because they're bugs. They're like 3 feet tall. He's like 7 feet tall, can do this a lot easier, right? In one such instance, he was helping out a 3-armed Thri-kreen who happened to be named Pachka. And so they got to be pretty good friends, and Pachka would share some of his food with Jepp, and so they were pretty good homies. They're pretty tight. And so eventually Pachka would sort of teach him a little bit more common language, because Jepp couldn't really remember it all, and then also a little bit of Thri-kreen. And Jepp had some trouble pronouncing Pachka's name in Thri-kreen because it's a bunch of clicks and clacks and whatnot. And so, but he did know the word for 3 and arms, because it's what some of the other bugs refer to Pachka as. So Jepp could really only remember pronounce the words initially for 3 and arms, because that's what some of the other bugs refer to Pachka as, because he's only got 3 arms. He lost one of his other arms in an accident where a bunch of rocks crushed it, unfortunately, before Jepp came to the worksite. And so Jepp could pronounce that a little bit better than he could pronounce Pachka's name in Thri-kreen. And so he just started calling Pachka 3 Arms, which, not the nicest of nicknames, but it was made with good intent. So it was kind of a joke between the two of them. So Jepp would call him 3 Arms, and Pachka, who, is a nice little guy, but he gives it out when he can, would refer to Jepp as Strong Horn, which is in reference to the fact that his horns were tightly bound with cloth and capped off at the ends, and not very useful at all to anybody, especially not Jepp. So that's how he got his last name, Stronghorn. He took that from Pachka and used it when he was traveling on the road to Florasian. So it's like his best buddy gave him his name, and I think that's pretty cool. So that's the story of how Jepp got his last name. Yeah, good stuff.
Hello, Taylor. I'm not gonna yap like Sarah did. Save some time. She said, "Get ready, do all this stuff." I'm not going to. She's like, "This will be 2 parts." Well, I told you now, so boo-hoo, too late. All right. So the story is about Jepp. Wow, would you be surprised about that? That's Sarah's words. And it starts at about the same age he was now, just 4 to 5 months back, shortly before we met him. So obviously his first memory after being knocked out is being dragged into a cart into a slave camp. He was a slave, not having a great time. And when he was dragged in, he was mangled and he was bound, and his horns were wrapped up and capped, and now he's a slave at Podieba. We've been there at Undertown, and he's being driven by Sulian, who we all know so well and love, and he has to work on the spire, and he starts getting the nickname the Beast and other nasty nicknames from the slavers, but then also, I believe, Champ from the Thri-kreen. The Thri-kreen are the bug creatures that help, that have been tasked to also be slaves. It's not really a task, it is being forced, but anyway, he starts to, when the slave drivers are not looking to mine for the Thri-kreen, the main central spire, because they don't do it very well. They're only 3 feet tall. He's a big ass fucking minotaur, and so he can handle it pretty well. And eventually, he meets this specific Thri-kreen that's working on this with 3 arms, a 3-armed Thri-kreen named Pachka. We know him. Well, they start to agree that, like, when Jeppard mines the thing for him, he sneaks him some food, and they start kind of becoming pals. And part of this whole ordeal was Jepp trying to learn the Thri-kreen language. The 2 words he can only really get down was 3 arms. The reason Pachka has 3 arms is he lost one in an accident at the very mine that they're in, some point before Jeppard came in, so he's only ever known him as 3 arms. And then Pachka, well, so Jeppard, he's trying to learn other words, but it just doesn't go very well. So he only knows 3 arms, a little bit in Thri-kreen, but he can only really get 3 arms down. So, he somewhat rudely calls him just 3 arms, and that's it. He goes, "Hey, what's up, 3 arms?" Kind of joshing him like a bro. And, well, as you noticed the detail I said earlier, his horns are wrapped up and have caps on them. So Pachka's like, "Well, I'm gonna send the nasty stuff right back at you." Like, he's a generally nice guy, but he's like, "Well, we're bros now, so we gotta give each other shit." And so he does. He goes, "Well, right back at you, Stronghorn." And Jepp, being such a bright guy, takes that as, "Oh, well, that must be my last name." Well, he doesn't see that, but he takes that as his surname now. Obviously, because he doesn't remember his own through his travels, and that's why we know him as Jeppard Stronghorn. Good luck, Taylor. That was kind of botched, but it's a pretty easy story, so goodbye.
Hi. Okay. So Brett went on a little ramble about what I can only summarize to, fuck you, Sarah. You in particular, fuck you. We're not gonna do that shit, because that is, quite frankly, too much work. Anyways, this story, involves Jepp. Ooh, crazy, it's Jepp. And it was when he is now. It was, when Jepp was... I was gonna try and make a joke, like, when Sen was 10. When Jepp was Yep, I don't fucking know. It started when he woke up in his good old Skyrim, origin story. Woke up in a cart, moving down the road. You're finally awake, right? They do the whole "you're finally awake" thing, and then they get to Podieba, the wonderful fucking underground mine. They got a Minotaur in with the bugs. Anyways, Jepp is getting brutalized. He's getting whipped and shit and slashed and gets his horns, like, buzzed off and whatnot. And all sorts of other shit. We're just gonna say all sorts of other shit, because I cannot remember. And yeah, he's there with Sulian. Sulian's a piece of shit. We all fucking hate Sulian. They made Jepp work at the spire, right? The big fucking hole. Anyways, at that spire, he got whipped and called, like, Beast by the workers and stuff. But then he also got called Champ. I don't know, like a father giving approval to his son by the Thri-kreen. One in particular that we know by the name of Pachka, also known as 3 Arms, apparently. I don't know if that was already known or if that's just development that I'm learning. Not sure on that. Anyways, him and Pachka become good friends. They share rations and stuff. Jepp is apparently very shit at bilingualism. Not his strong suit whatsoever. But the words he does pick up is 3 arms, so he kind of calls Pachka 3 arms, because he doesn't know what else to call him, because he's really bad at bilingualism. Very bad. And then Pachka goes, hey, okay, we're bros now. So, if you're gonna call me 3 arms, I'm gonna call you Stronghorn, you know, because of his very strong horns. Oh, Sarah's messaging. Fuck you. Anyways, yeah, you're gonna call you Stronghorn. And Jepp's like, not being very bright, quote from Brett, Jepp takes the surname of Stronghorn. And, yeah, that's kind of the little, like, prehistory wind-up of Jepp's little, escapades in the mines of Mordor.
Hi, don't mind the fact that Brett's cheating, but he's already heard the story, and he already knows how it goes, so he's gonna hear Taylor's version, and my version. He did not appreciate my joke. Okay, so basically, this story's about Jepp. Who would have guessed that if I made a story about Sen's lore, then Sarah was gonna make a Jepp's lore. Crazy. Sorry, I can't decide if I should look at the recording button or look at you right in your eyes. Okay, so basically, we awake in a minecart, and a bug goes, huh, you're finally awake. This is not Skyrim, but it is now, so get wrecked. And Jepp's like, wow, that's crazy. I don't know what's going on here. Memory's gone. He took the blue pill. I don't understand that reference. I don't think that's right. And so he's got no memories. He's in a minecart. He's surrounded by, like, big bug creatures that he actually doesn't understand because he's not bilingual, and he maybe only knows Common. Maybe Minotaur. We don't know. This is unbeknownst to us. So they shave his horns down because, like, that would be dangerous. But he's really strong, and so they put him at the spire to do all the heavy work because he's a Minotaur and he's strong. And the bug people probably aren't that strong. They probably just got little bug arms, you know? Anywho's it. So, he's big and tough and strong, and he meets a little guy named Pachka. And he goes, hey, little guy named Pachka, I don't speak your language, but we could be friends. And little guy named Pachka goes, oh, sure. I don't really speak your language, but we could be friends, and I'll try my darndest to bridge this gap, because at least I've heard Common before. You've probably never heard my language. Anywho's it. So they're best buds, and they share their rations, and they share their love. Oh, and so then Jepp, not speaking Thrycreen, is like, hey, this guy's trying to say something to me. And it kind of feels vaguely like he's saying 3 arms. That must be his surname, actually. His surname is 3 arms. He is Pachka 3 arms. And Pachka goes, I don't think you understand what I'm saying, and maybe this is a slur. Maybe you're making fun of me, and so in return, I shall call you Jeppard Stronghorn. And Jeppard goes, Stronghorn? You know my last name? And there it is. Jeppard Stronghorn. Jeppard's surname, Stronghorn. That must be his surname, and Pachka knows it, of course, because he is a bug, and bugs know all. So yeah, that is the origin story of Jeppard's last name. I hope you enjoyed. And we decided that we can't when Sen was 10 with this, because when Jepp was Yep, this doesn't sound. When Jepp was inept. When Jepp was inept. Yep, that's it.
Oh, God. Oh, it's all gone. Oh, fuck. Okay. So, I have nothing. Jeppard backstory. Yep, Jepp backstory. So, some time ago, he woke up and he was in a cart. He was in a cart in a mine, but not a mine cart. He was in, I don't know, he was in some sort of cart, and he woke up and there was like, these
bug people next to him, and they were all like, yeah. And he's like, I don't know what the fuck you're saying, but yeah. And holy shit, I really forgot all of it. But then Jepp was big and strong, and he was a minotaur, and so the people, they shaved off his horns. They cut him down so he couldn't be dangerous. But Jepp was big and he was strong, so they put him at the spire to do all this work, all this slave work on the spire. But they didn't bring the bug people there because the bug people were too weak. The bug people are weak. They're not strong. And then Jepp, holy shit, it's like Jepp got to the spire and was doing work, and then he met this little bug guy, and little bug guy said his name was Patchka. But then Jepp was also like, I think that's his name, but I can't tell if that's his name because like I don't speak Thrycreen, but like he like roughly spoke common, and so they should be friends. And Jepp and Pachka were like, yeah, let's be friends. And then they were chatting, and Pachka was trying to say something, and Jepp thought it sounded like 3 arms, and so Jepp was like, yeah, that has to be your surname, Pachka 3 arms. That's your full name. And Pachka was like, hey yo, what the fuck? It sounds like you're saying slurs right now. So guess what, bitch? I'm gonna call you Jepp Stronghorn. Stronghorn. And Jepp was like, holy shit, you know my last name. That's fucking crazy. How do you know my last name? And then the two of them were slaves, and they became best friends, and they shared their time and their friendship and their love. And then it's also important to remember that Jepp was inept. There you go. Holy shit.
All right. Let's... Oh, I'm so scared. I'm gonna preface this with, you just saw the video, but R.I.P. Thomas's memory. All right, so it's a Jeppard Stronghorn backstory. Jepp was found, he woke up, he was in a cart, in a mine, but not a mine cart, no. And he, was, I'm skipping over a lot of stuff right now, but he was strong. So he was sent to the spire, or whatever they called it, with the little, no bug people were there. No. Bug people, not there, because they were not strong. No bug people there. So Jepp was sent there. They wanted to shave off his horns because he, a minute already? God damn. Because he was too strong, but so he was sent to the spire, and no bug people were there, but he somehow met a guy named Pachka, and Jepp couldn't speak Thrycreen, but Pachka knew a little bit of common. So Jepp was like, Pachka, and he could understand that he was saying something about 3 arms. So he's like, that's your last name, Pachka, 3 arms. Pachka was like, why are you saying slurs to me? That's rude. So he called him Stronghorn, and Jepp was like, that's my last name. So they became buddies, and they shared their friendship and their love. I gotta do it better, but I couldn't. And became besties, and Jepp was inept the whole time. So, yippee!